Hello everyone, this is part 5 of What If Deku Married May, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
The rankings for the tournament had finally been revealed, and the trio of Melissa, Midoriya, and Hatsume gathered close to them to see their matches. 1. Izuku Midoriya vs. Katsuki Bakugo. 2. Okako Uraraka vs. TetsuTetsu. 3. Melissa Shield vs. Tenko Shimura. 4. Momo YaoYorozu vs. Shoto Todoroki. 5. Denki Kaminari vs. Obara Shiozaki. 6. Mina Ashido vs. Itsuka Kendo. 7. Minoru Mineta vs. Eijiro Kirishima. 8. Hitoshi Shinsu vs. Mei Hatsume. I have the first match. Midoriya grimaced. And it's up against Bakugo. And my match will be against Tenko, Melissa sighed. I can only imagine how badly this is going to affect his self-esteem. He tends to beat himself up pretty badly when he messes up. Hatsume, meanwhile, remained silent. Not because she was speechless over who she was going to face, but because she was, for lack of a better word, muttering on her head. I see, so the first fight I'll have will be against that jerk that made me reveal Izuku's identity and the gadget I made for him. Good, that means I'll be able to give him the beating he so rightfully deserves. She took a moment to realize what she did, and blush accordingly. Wait, why am I calling Midoriya by his first name? I only do that in serious situations, and this certainly isn't serious yet. Hatsume. The gadgeteer turned to see both Midoriya and Melissa looking at her, one with concern, one with curiosity. Guess which of them had which expression? Are you okay? You're blushing. Oh, it's nothing, Izuku. Hatsume turned back to the rankings. It's just that my opponent's someone I got a bit of a beef with. Izuku. Hatsume flinched and turned around again, this time seeing a blushing Midoriya and a gasping Melissa, the latter whose wide mouth formed into a smile as she put her hands on her cheeks. Wait, it's not what you think. You just called him by his first name. Melissa chirped, pointing at Midoriya. No, I mean, yes, but. So cute. Well, I did ask for it, didn't I? Midoriya argued, scratching the back of his head with a sheepish smile. You're not helping, Izuku. Hatsume slapped herself. Gah, I did it again. After another chuckle, Melissa calmed down and turned back to the matches, which made her smile falter. And apparently, Mina's going to fight Kendo. Did someone mention my name? The trio turned and, to their displeasure, Mina was calmly walking towards them, holding a smug, snobby smile as she pushed past them and looked at the matches. No way. I'm gonna fight Kendo. I can't wait to bring our little scuffle from so long ago full circle. I bet we're going to be friends by the end of it. Cut it with the false joy, Ashido. Midoriya chided, getting the acidic girl's attention. We all know you're only happy for the match up, 'cause it'll let you hurt Kendo again. Mina giggled. Perhaps that's the reason. Or perhaps I'm happy because the road to facing Hatsume has just been made infinitely easier. I just beat Kendo, and whoever comes next, and Hatsume has to beat. Mina looked at the last match, and grimaced. That bastard Shinsu. Now that you mention him, does anybody even know what he does? Melissa asked, scratching her head. I've never seen him use it. He can only activate his quirk with a question, I think, and the telltale sign is the sound of bells, Midoriya explained, folding his arms. If they sound threatening, he's angry, but I think they sound normal for everything else. And that question thing isn't even a limitation, he simply spoke to me during my detainment, and the bells still rang, Mina confessed, putting a hand on her hip. Also, if you do talk to him when the bells ring, you'll be under his control until he tells you what to do, snaps his fingers, gets you to do that thing, and then snaps them again to turn you back to normal. So that's what he did. Hatsume scratched her chin. I remember him coming to the support room, he asked a question, I replied, and next thing I know everything was blank. For all intents and purposes, then, you can't speak to him during the entire match, Melissa hummed. You weren't planning of talking too much during the match, were you? Hatsume blushed and looked elsewhere as she twiddled her fingers. Don't tell me you were planning to turn the match into a sales pitch, Mina teased. Would you leave us alone already? Midoriya snapped. Geez, fine, you really do get cranky when people tease your girlfriend, Mina spoke as she walked away, not even waiting until she was out of view to add, hey, YaoYorozu. Are you sure you want that guy as your mate? He's one cranky asshole. The trio simply shook their heads and turned back to the matches, just in time for another person to join their ranks, Uraraka, who walked past the trio and looked closer at her match with a slightly concerned expression. Uraraka. Oh. Hi. The brunette greeted nervously. Sorry, I didn't notice you were there. I was very focused on the matches. It's okay, I understand, Midoriya turned back to the board. You're facing off against one of my classmates, TetsuTetsu. Yeah, and you'll be facing off against Bakugo, Uraraka sighed as she turned back to the board as well. And then she noticed Melissa and Hatsume staring at them. So sorry. I didn't notice you either. How? I'm the tallest woman in the whole first year bracket. Melissa quipped with a light-hearted chuckle. Nah, just kidding. You already know me, right? Melissa Shield, famous ex-inventor and daughter of support specialist David Shield, Uraraka nodded. I know who you are, you're in my classroom. Ex-inventor. Melissa folded her arms. Excuse me, I'm still an inventor. Uraraka tilted her head. Are you sure? Because I haven't seen you invent anything since the school year started. Melissa flinched. I haven't. Well, I certainly have invented stuff. Hatsume butted in. May Hatsume, at your service. Uraraka's smile faltered slightly. Oh, so you're the girl that told Bakugo about Midoriya showing my class his quirk, right? Pretty much. Uraraka's face looked concerned. Have you two hung out since then? Hatsume scratched her head. Not much, really, he just visits the support room sometimes in order to get me to look at his support items. I see, Uraraka sternly uttered, her frown gaining a hint of disapproval. Why is she getting upset? Anyway, back onto the matches, Midoriya blurted. Melissa, what do you know about this Tenko Shimura you're fighting? Just general knowledge. He's a kid who was rescued by All Might, he's a member of the Shimura family of heroes and other things, and he's rather shy, Melissa shrugged. That's it. So, you're going in blind, Midoriya took a deep breath. Well, I'm gonna go clear my head until my match starts. Bye-bye, Midoriya, Hatsume chirped, waving her hand cheerfully. The boy separated from the girls, and walked around the stadium, seeing the food stands, the people conversing, and just all around trying to calm himself down before the tournament portion of the festival started. I'm telling you, that this is the best chance you got to convince Deku to drop out. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to fucking do that. Well, it didn't take long before he stumbled into an interesting scene. And, sadly enough, one that was related to his fight with Bakugo. Against his better judgment, Midoriya approached the scene, and found none other than Mina and Bakugo talking together. What's going on here? He asked. Bakugo turned around and saved his hands on his pockets. Nothing, Deku, just Pinky being a stubborn little bitch. Stubborn little bitch, Mina repeated, feigning shock. How could you call your sister such a horrible thing? A long silence came and went. Wait a minute, you two are related. Midoriya exclaimed, taking a step back. How would that even be possible? Trust me, I didn't believe it either, so I asked my parents about it and guess what? Dad apparently had an affair in which Pinky came out as a result. Bakugo rolled his eyes. And I don't know which is worse, the fact Pinky's my sister, or the fact my mom knew about the affair and was actually okay with it. Midoriya frowned. You have to be kidding me. Nope, what we're telling you's the truth. Mina chirped. I was born in an attempt to reel in Bakugo's insanely temperamental attitude, something about the idea that having a little sister would make him behave. Although considering who you are right now, I don't think being around you would have helped. At all. And if you're wondering why we were talking about you. Mina folded her arms behind her back and approached Midoriya. Well, simply put, Icarus, you're inches away from coming face to face with the sun. Icarus. Face to face with the sun. Midoriya folded his arms. What are you talking about, Ashido? Just pure nonsense, Deku, don't listen to her. Mina huffed. You say that now, but when the fight comes up and you end up burning his wings out of the tournament, you will remember me. With that said, Mina strolled off, and Midoriya threw a confused look at Bakugo, prompting the explosive blonde to explain himself. Pinky had the idea that, since I've had my quirk for years and you only had yours for basically 1 year, that the discrepancy between our experience would give me an easy win. However, I get the feeling she's only saying that because she's desperate for you to get out of this thing. Midoriya lowered his eyelids. I scared her, didn't I? Well, you did shoot quite the glare at her, so the possibility you two could end up fighting would no doubt make her uncomfortable, Bakugo sighed. But we won't know if she's scared until the fight. Bakugo saved his hands on his pockets and walked away, leaving Midoriya alone to continue his trek across the stadium. Oh, Midoriya, at least until YaoYorozu popped up. Oh, hi YaoYorozu, he greeted. I was just taking a walk to prepare myself for my fight. Yeah, I know, and I don't plan to take too much of your time, YaoYorozu clasped her hands. I just want to let you know that I'll be cheering you on. Midoriya raised an eyebrow. Does this have anything to do with the fact you want me to become your mate? YaoYorozu blinked. No. Why would it have anything to do with that? Well, you did come to my class's training ground and kinda gave everyone a heart attack with what you did. Yeah, on hindsight, that was a horrible first impression, but Midoriya. YaoYorozu put a hand on his shoulder. Whether we become mates or not, I want to try establish a friendly relationship between Class 1A and Class 1B. And since you seem to be among the friendlier members of 1B. Okay, I get it, Midoriya smiled. Thanks, YaoYorozu. I'll be cheering you on when your match starts, too. YaoYorozu smiled and blushed with a simple nod, before separating from the boy. And before anybody knew it, the tournament started, Bakugo and Midoriya taking their spots at the edges of the arena while Midnight stood at the sidelines. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. The final event of the sports festival, the tournament. Yay, tournament. Oh, and it looks like we got an interesting matchup to start things off. Stole it right from my mouth, YOUNGLING. On one corner, we got the boy whose swan dive gave him a NEW, definitely quirky life. It's Class 1B's IZUKUMIDORIYA. Go, Midoriya, YaoYorozu exclaimed from the stands, making the boy flinch and blush. And on the other corner, his explosions are only matched by his temper. One of the strongest students of Class 1A, KATSUKI Bakugo. Become a supernova that'll burn him to a crisp, Bakugo. Mina shouted with excitement, earning a disapproving look from YaoYorozu. What? I'm only being honest, Bakugo has a far higher chance of winning than Midoriya, be realistic. Uraraka joined in giving Mina a stern look, before she turned back to the arena. In there, Bakugo briefly took a look at the audience, and though they were far away, he still caught two sights that intrigued him. The first one was Uraraka, who looked at him with a concerned look before she noticed him, and promptly turned elsewhere, narrowing her eyes in a pout. The other sight was Mina, who was waving her arms with the smuggest shit-eating grin Bakugo had ever seen. Yes, even compared to his earlier grins. They're watching us, Midoriya, Bakugo stated as he turned back to the Swan Knight. Pinky, Round Face, and Black Swan are going to have their eyes on us the whole fight. Black Swan. Midoriya raised an eyebrow. Is he talking about YaoYorozu? Start. Well then, show me what you got, Midoriya. With that said, Bakugo sprinted towards Midoriya, and the boy quickly responded by crouching down, pressing a button on his boots, and then jumping high enough to reach the sky. He promptly fell down, and before he hit the ground, he sprouted his swan wings and flew up, with Bakugo wasting no time in giving chase. I see you've managed to find a way to work around your jumping requirement. Bakugo exclaimed, unleashing explosions downwards. Who made those things for you? Bullseye. If you're talking about Hatsume, then yes, I asked her to build the boots, and she delivered, Midoriya answered, getting ready to dodge. You got a problem with that? Not at all, Bakugo smiled with confidence. It'll even the field, if only so slightly. Wow, the fight's barely started and both our fighters have decided to take things to the sky. Which one of them will fall first? Which one will lose first? And most importantly, can I hug Midoriya when this is over? That's an odd request, YOUNGLING. His wings just look so fluffy. And as the commentators kept talking, Bakugo kept throwing explosion after explosion at Midoriya, who flew out of the way each time, narrowly missing the strike. This continued until Bakugo decided to fly slightly more up than Midoriya, confusing the guy before he followed him. Once high enough, Bakugo swung a kick right at Midoriya's face, then followed that by throwing an explosion on his face, sending him flying towards the audience seats. However, Midoriya quickly regained his composure, and flew away before he crash-landed, the audience cheering as he flew right back to Bakugo, who gritted his teeth as he shot off some more explosions. The boys chased after each other, forming what basically amounted to a light show until they both went back to the arena, Bakugo landing on his feet, while Midoriya kept himself suspended from the ground so his wings wouldn't vanish. I gotta admit, Deku, you're definitely not like the little quirkless loser that used to be beneath me, Bakugo smiled. And you're certainly not the loser that couldn't compare to me anymore. Midoriya raised an eyebrow. Well, thanks. Honestly, it feels kinda weird to be praised by you. Bakugo unleashed small firecrackers and leapt high. That's the idea. Midoriya looked up, and he brought his wings in front of him, with the black feather on his head glowing as Bakugo spun around, put his arms up close and shouted. Howitzer impact. What Bakugo unleashed next was the mother of all explosions, covering the entire half of the arena, and having enough force to shake the entire stadium. Midoriya. Class 1B exclaimed in horror. Izuku. Hatsume screamed in disbelief. Melissa, though staying silent, gritted her teeth as she threw a disapproving look at Bakugo. I said it once, and I'll say it again. Melissa turned around, and saw Mina looking at the fight with a bemused expression. Midoriya flew too close to the sun, and got caught up as it turned into a supernova. And finally, YaoYorozu clasped her hands together and looked at the giant explosion as it began to dissipate, hoping that, even if Midoriya was out of the tournament, that he was still relatively okay. Or, at the very least, alive. That attack took everything I had, Bakugo said as he took a couple deep breaths, his arms shaking slightly. But as long as it got the point across. The cloud smoke fully dissipated, and it revealed Midoriya laying on the ground, the wings in front of him looking pitch black before they cracked and dissipated into light. It was worth it. Several seconds passed as Midoriya didn't move an inch, with Midnight too stumped to say anything. And Bakugo has unleashed what can only be hoped to be his strongest attack. Midoriya might still technically be on the ring, but if he's not even conscious to counterattack, then what's the point? Hey, your name's Midnight, isn't it? Bakugo snapped at the referee. He's not going to stand up after that attack. You think so? Everybody turned to see Midoriya's side of the arena, and all sorts of mixed reactions came in. Mina was flabbergasted, YaoYorozu was relieved, Melissa was glad, Hatsume was almost on tears, and all of Class 1B rejoiced. And what they were seeing was Midoriya stand back up, heavily bruised but still in the fight. Maybe when we were younger, but not now. Bakugo looked dumbfounded at the still-standing Swan Knight for a moment. But his shock was soon replaced with an amused smile. You really have changed, Deku. With his words spoken, Bakugo collapsed, and soon after, Midnight spoke. Bakugo can't go any longer. Midoriya goes to the next round. You gave me a heart attack. It was a true miracle. I can't believe you could still stand. And more comments from his classmates came to Midoriya, who was scratching the back of his head and laughing a bit. Come on, guys, stop it, I get it already. No, I don't think you do, Monoma shook his head. You just went face to face against the strongest student in all of Class 1A, and you managed to outlast him. And that's the keyword, I outlasted him, Midoriya pointed out. I didn't really beat him, I just managed to hold on long enough for him to pass out. Dude, the fact he passed out before you is still amazing, Kendo remarked. I still can't believe you did it, but most importantly, how did you do it? Yeah, and where did the black feather on your head go? Subaraba blurted. Midoriya searched his mess of a hairstyle, and he soon realized that yes, the black feather he got from YaoYorozu was nowhere to be found. Midoriya. The boy turned, and Class 1B turned around to see YaoYorozu peeking from across the wall set between both stands. Oh, YaoYorozu, Midoriya smiled a little. Hi. Sorry, I think I lost the feather you gave me. YaoYorozu shook her head. No, you didn't lose it, you used it. Midoriya raised an eyebrow. Used it. The feather I gave you was meant to be used similar to yours, as a token of protection. So, when you tried to block Bakugo's explosion, the feather activated and enhanced your wings so they could absorb most of the damage, she explained. The feather vanished for good after that. That sounds like a big fat deus ex machina to me, Monoma spoke. But who cares? Midoriya's still in this thing. Suck it, Bakugo. Kendo slapped Monoma. Speaking of Bakugo, how is he? Recovery girl healed him, and he's already back at the stands. YaoYorozu scratched the back of her head. Now, I should get going back to my seat. Uraraka's going to fight next. Got it. So YaoYorozu returned to her seat, and both classes turned to see the next match. On this corner, from the hero course, we have the Queen of Space herself, a young lady WHO will blow you away. Class 1A's OCHAKOURARAKA. And on this corner, also from the hero course, a very embodiment of metallic manliness. It's Class 1B's TETSUTETSUTETSUTETSU. Why did you repeat his name twice? I didn't. That's how his name's spelled, apparently. I'm just gonna let you know now. TetsuTetsu pounded his fists. I'm not gonna go easy on you just because you're a girl. Uraraka smiled wide. Well, considering the number of guys who've told me to relax since they'd hold back against me, it's kinda refreshing that I'm fighting someone who'll take me seriously. That's quite a gentleman move, if I do say so myself. TetsuTetsu blushed, but he quickly shook it off and prepared to fight, all while Uraraka lowered her eyelids and thought, it won't change the outcome, though. Start. TetsuTetsu turned his skin to steel and pounded his fists once more. Take this. Steel rush. The steel-skinned teenager rushed towards Uraraka, who responded by taking a couple steps forward. He even has a special move ready. That's cool, but it's still not enough to change the outcome of this fight. Once close enough, TetsuTetsu threw a punch that Uraraka easily dodged. She responded by tapping his back with all 5 fingerprints, causing the steel-skinned teenager to start floating forward. Wait, what? TetsuTetsu flailed his arms. What's going on? I'm sorry, but rushing into me was never going to work. Uraraka pressed her fingerprints together. Release. The steel-skinned teenager remained on the air for a second before he plummeted into the grass face first. TetsuTetsu is out of bounds. Midnight exclaimed. Uraraka goes to the next round. The audience roared with joy as TetsuTetsu turned his skin back to normal, and Uraraka walked up to him and offered a hand to help him stand up. And though hesitant at first, TetsuTetsu accepted the offer, stood up, then raised Uraraka's arm, causing the audience to cheer once more. TetsuTetsu was the first to return to his class stand, sitting down with an upset expression. I can't believe I got beaten so easily. I definitely can believe it, Shiozaki stated. I know your quirk doesn't give you much range, but rushing straight for an enemy is a guaranteed recipe for disaster. Kodai hummed in agreement. Shiozaki, don't make TetsuTetsu feel worse than he already feels, Kendo chided. He did the best he could without knowing what her quirk was. Yeah, and even if I had explained to him what her quirk was, I don't think it would have changed much, Midoriya interjected. I mean, considering TetsuTetsu's short range, he'd need to get close to Uraraka anyway just to try get a hit in. Which reminds me, Shiozaki narrowed her eyes. Why didn't you give him a plan or strategy to try defeat that girl? Because they'd involve the exact same, get close and hope you can hit her, tactic he used. And as Class 1B continued with their argument, Class 1A got the return of Uraraka to the stands. You did great out there, YaoYorozu remarked. Thanks, YaoYorozu, Uraraka replied as she sat next to the winged girl. I was rather surprised he went charging straight for me, though. His quirk doesn't seem to have many, if any, long-range applications, Mina brought up. To him, it was get close or wait for you to get close, which was never going to happen. Uraraka narrowed her eyes. I see. A short silence followed, until Bakugo blurted, so, Inventor Jr. and Handyman are going to fight next. Everybody turned their attention to Melissa and Shimura, the latter shivering as he tried to think of what to do. Melissa put a reassuring hand on his shoulder, and they both decided to head down for the fight. Before they had even left, however, Tenko tripped with Mina's foot. Ashido. Melissa snapped. Why didn't you put your foot back? Why did you walk out at my row? Mina responded sternly. Besides, I wasn't even paying attention. I was trying to deduce which of you would end up winning. Upset at the statement, but not having time to waste, Melissa helped Shimura stand up and they both left the stands. And the acidic girl smirked, watching a pink blob of something going up Shimura's leg. On this corner, the daughter of a famous support specialist, and a great potential hero herself. Class 1A's Melissa Shield. And on this corner, a meek guy WHO has managed to surprise US so far. Also from Class 1A, Tenko Shimura. The audience roared with joy, and Shimura flinched, covering his ears until the noises calmed down. He took a couple deep breaths and then uncovered his ears just in time to hear Melissa blurt. Tenko. The boy lifted his head and saw Melissa giving him a reassuring smile. It's going to be okay. The guy nodded, and took an uneasy battle stance. Start. Melissa charged her legs with some power from One for All, and immediately sprinted towards Shimura, who got ready to sprint as well. He took a couple of steps forward. And an intense pain shot up from her leg that caused him to hit the ground face first. Seeing this, Melissa braked right in front of the guy and helped him stand up, only for him to scream in pain as he put force on his pained leg. Melissa raised his pants up, and he quickly noticed the reason why was because his foreleg had a nasty acid burn, even having a couple holes that showed visible bone. Oh my god, Midnight gasped. It seems somebody has sabotaged Shimura. That really looks like it hurts. I can't watch. Trust me, youngling, you don't wanna watch. Melissa lifted Shimura in a bridal carry and left, leaving Midnight to shout. Shimura can't fight any longer. Melissa goes to the next round. But there were no shouts of joy, for the audience was too stunned for what had happened. At Recovery Girl's infirmary, Shimura took several deep breaths as Melissa grabbed his hand and an enraged Recovery Girl shook her head. I just can't believe none of the board saw this coming. Heck, it's unbelievable the principal didn't see this coming. She growled. It appears that someone shot something on Shimura's leg and waited until the fight began to activate its acidic properties. Ashido. Melissa stated sternly, clutching Shimura's hand harder. She caused Tenko to trip before we headed to the arena. She must have been the one to do this. Recovery Girl took a deep breath. Normally I'd be against the idea of blaming someone without evidence, but Mina Ashido's proved to be such a psychopath that I wouldn't be surprised if this was true. Melissa released Shimura's hand, and once the two bid themselves farewell, she stomped out of Recovery Girl's office and began searching across the stadium for Mina. Young Melissa. The girl stopped and turned around, spotting not only All Might in his muscular form, but Gran Torino as well. Uncle Might. Master Gran Torino. Melissa bowed at both of them. It's nice to see you, but I'm kind of busy right now. You're looking for whoever used acid on young Shimura's leg, aren't you? All Might guessed. Whoever don't act stupid, Uncle Might. Melissa snapped. It was obviously Ashido who did it. There's nobody else with an acid quirk and crazy enough to do something so cruel. Perhaps, but what do you plan to do once you find her? Gran Torino folded his arms. Will you beat her black and blue before her fight with Kendo? That sounds like it'll give you more trouble than it's worth. What the hell are you talking about? Melissa growled. She hurt Tenko, blowing holes in his leg. She deserves some kind of punishment. Listen, young Melissa, Gran Torino isn't saying that young Ashido doesn't deserve a punishment, he's saying that beating her up right now, when she still has to go up against young Kendo, is going to make people wonder who did it, All Might explained. And even if people agreed that she deserved it, it would still make people fear you at the expense of a short-term payback. What? Why? That's just how the world works, kid. If you do something bad for a good reason, people will hold you accountable for it no matter how justifiable it is. Gran Torino folded his arms and sighed. I've had enough experience with this kind of thing to know it. Melissa gritted her teeth and narrowed her eyes, before she frowned and slammed her fist against a wall, causing it to crack slightly. Damn you, Ashido. Leaning against the back of a hallway, Mina flinched and looked around with a raised eyebrow. How strange, I could have sworn I heard somebody talking about me. But oh well, I should start looking for another place to watch the fights. I can't go back to the stands after Shimura's deal. Mina put her arms behind her head and began walking down the hallway, searching for any windows that'd allow her a peek at the upcoming fights. I'm so glad you could come, Dad. The acidic girl stopped and walked closer to the source of the voice. She peeked from behind a corner, and saw YaoYorozu talking with some guy with red wings and blonde hair. Well, when I heard you had reached the tournament portion of the festival, I kinda had to see for and no, winning the tournament won't change my mind about your wings, okay? But Dad, I still think it'd be better if you stopped trying to focus on both things at once, and clipped your wings, the man stated in a matter-of-factly tone. I know it must sound cruel and unfair to you, but I'm only suggesting this because I want what's best for you. Keeping my wings is what's best for me. YaoYorozu stated. I'm smart enough to make my quirk work, I can figure out how to use my wings and my quirk at the same time too. Momo, you want proof, don't you? Just watch me during the tournament and you'll see what I mean. The man remained silent for a moment, then sighed. Fine, if you can show me you can use both your quirk and your wings, I'll consider not clipping them. And speaking of which, your match is about to start, isn't it? YaoYorozu nodded. Yeah, it is. I gotta go. The man smiled. Good luck out there. YaoYorozu returned the smile, and Mina managed to avoid being seen by her as she walked to the arena. She kept hiding as the man left as well, hands saved on his pockets. I see, so YaoYorozu's a daddy's girl. Very interesting, but who the heck is her father? I swear I've seen him before, but where? Shoto. Mina kept hiding as Todoroki and the muscular fire hero known as Endeavor walked down the same hallway. She was rather surprised at the coincidence, but she decided to keep quiet and watch. You've come this far without using my fire, but that can only help you so much. Endeavor sternly stated. You have to use your fire eventually, Shoto. If you keep up this silly rebellion. Silly rebellion. You traumatized Mom into insanity. You got Toya killed because you forced him to learn a technique his body couldn't handle. Todoroki snapped, shooting an icy glare at Endeavor. Your fire's nothing more than a curse, and I will never use it. I will win this entire thing without using your fire, and once you swallow your damn pride when I reach first place, you better start seeing your fire for the menace it truly is. With that said, the father and son separated, and Mina came out of hiding. So one of the recommended students is a daddy's girl, while the others got daddy issues. What an interesting dichotomy between those two. Mina smirked maliciously. And what a delightful facts that Endeavor's just around the corner. On this corner, a winged heroine with the power to create anything. A round of applause for Class 1A's Momo YaoYorozu. Go YaoYorozu. Midoriya shouted. Why are you cheering for someone from a different class? Monoma snapped. Well, she cheered for him on his fight, Kendo pointed out. I think it's only fair at least Midoriya does the same. And on this corner, his burning rage and his cold shoulder combine to create a devastating combo. Also from Class 1A, SHOTOTODOROKI. Todoroki, before we begin, I'd like to tell you it's nothing personal, YaoYorozu stated before crouching down and spreading her wings. But my father's watching me, so I must come out of this fight victorious. Todoroki clenched his fist, his eyes obscured by his hair. Your father's watching you. YaoYorozu raised a concerned eyebrow. Todoroki. He gritted his teeth. Father's watching. Start. Todoroki raised his right foot, and calmly exclaimed. Watch and gape, Dad. He slammed his foot down, and from the spot emerged what could only be described as a fuck you sized iceberg, almost covering the entire stadium. The audience reeled back, including both hero course classes, watching their reflections against the sharp and dangerously close spikes of the iceberg. GG's, that Todoroki went kinda overboard. Midoriya thought, sweating bullets. I had a feeling Todoroki was strong. Melissa grimaced, catching her breath as a spike was inches away from her nose. But nothing like this. This guy needs some kind of limiter ASAP. Hatsume mentally noted, writing down schematics for such a device without looking away from the iceberg. Back on the arena, Todoroki took a couple deep breaths as he felt the right side of his body. Well, it looks like President Mike's been entered speechless, so I'll talk in his behalf. Midnight, where's YaoYorozu? Midnight, who got encased in ice as a consequence of the iceberg, tried to break free before responding, I'm kinda stuck at the moment, but I'm here. Everybody looked up, and to their absolute shock, YaoYorozu was flying down the spiral of ice, her eyes meeting with Todoroki's as the half-redhead half-whitehead stared in shock. Unbelievable. YaoYorozu has not only survived the giant ice attack, but seems to have prepared some kind of counterattack. It can't be. Todoroki thought as YaoYorozu flew closer and closer to him. She dodged my ice, nobody's ever done that before. Todoroki's thoughts were interrupted when he was picked by YaoYorozu, then flung out of the arena, with YaoYorozu landing right at the edge before she retracted her wings. Todoroki is out of bounds. YaoYorozu goes to the next round. How? Todoroki asked as he stood up. How did you dodge my ice? Simple, I flew up before you slammed your foot down. Todoroki turned, and saw YaoYorozu near him, offering a hand. And if it helps you feel a little better, if I had been a second too late, you probably would have encased me. The half-redhead half-whitehead boy sighed and accepted the offer. Good fight, YaoYorozu. Hey, your little talk sweet and all, but Midnight blurted loudly. There's still a giant iceberg covering the stadium. Oh, right, sorry, I'll take care of it. Todoroki ran up to free Midnight and melt the iceberg, and as he did, YaoYorozu watched him go with a little smile, a sense of pride surging through her. Great work, YaoYorozu. The winged girl turned around and saw none other than Midoriya approaching her. With him came the uneasy pair of Melissa and Hatsume, the former clutching her chest while the latter finished her schematics. Thanks a lot, Midoriya, YaoYorozu replied, flashing a little smile. Although, I'm a little bit upset that I couldn't use my quirk during that fight. Right, we were told your quirk was something completely different from your wings, Hatsume remarked, not taking her eyes off her schematics. But why would you be upset? Melissa asked. From the looks of it, your wings were more than enough to win that fight. Without them, you would have become a popsicle. Perhaps, but YaoYorozu took a deep breath and put a hand on her chest. My father's got this idea that if I keep both the mutation and my quirk, that I'll end up being subpar at both. So, he wants to clip my wings in order for me to focus more on my quirk. Well, his idea is understandable. Having two completely different powers would require you to ignore one to fully capitalize on the other, or try to work with both and come out just average. Midoriya scratched his chin. Still, though, you could just simply focus on your quirk and that could be the end of it. But I wanna focus on both, Midoriya. YaoYorozu stated, causing the boy to flinch and lean back. I don't want to just be able to fly or just be able to create everything. I want to be able to both fly and be able to create everything. That's quite an ambition you got there, Melissa scratched her chin. But have you even managed to work around using both at the same time? I kinda have. YaoYorozu scratched the back of her head. I need to focus on what I'm creating in order to make it, but I also need to focus on my wings in order to keep up my flight. Midoriya lowered his eyelids. Now I see the problem. And as the group kept talking, Shiozaki and Kaminari walked past them, heading for the arena. Shiozaki stopped for a moment and turned to look at the sight of Midoriya conversing with the girls. For some strange reason, what would normally upset her made her feel indifferent, instead. She once shoved her vines up Mina's butt for getting too close to Midoriya, but now he was surrounded by three girls and she didn't even feel like lifting a finger. Regardless, that would be something for another day. For now, she had a fight to do. On this corner, the only thing more shocking than his powers is his constant flirting on the battlefield. Class 1A's Denki Kaminari. And on this corner, her faith is her ultimate weapon. Class 1B's Abara Shiozaki. Say, I know we're from different classes, but would you like to go eat something when this is over? Kaminari said before shooting a wink at Shiozaki. I'll treat you. Is he seriously flirting with me before the fight? Well, if that's the game he wants to play. Shiozaki took a deep breath. Fine then, I'll go on a pity date with you once I win. A short silence passed. Wait, that's not. Start. Alright then, let's see you win. Kaminari smirked as electricity surged across him. Shiozaki quickly turned around and created a wall of vines behind her, blocking Kaminari's barrage of lighting until it was safe to look outside. Shiozaki took a peek from behind the wall, and held back her laughter as she saw Kaminari, with an utterly idiotic look on his face, flash a pair of thumbs up while saying, "We." with a notably deeper tone of voice. So, I guess he's out of commission. Midnight raised an eyebrow. How long does it take you to go back to normal, Kaminari? Was all Kaminari said. Well, sadly, we don't have enough time for that. Midnight raised her whip. Shiozaki goes to the next round. The audience cheered as Shiozaki calmed down, and eventually grimaced at her realization. Dang it, now I'll have to go on a date with that guy. With the last 3 fights soon to happen, Present Mike wasted no time introducing the next fighters. On this corner, you may know her as the apprentice to a certain stain, and a rebel without a CAUSE. Also a horror waiting to happen, but nobody listens to me anyway. It's Class 1A's Mina ASHIDO. And on this corner, the one person keeping all of Class 1B together, and their emotional support in hard times. It's the mother of Class 1B, ITSUKA Kendo. So, Kendo, it's been a while since we've last talked. Mina spoke with a friendly, yet menacing tone. How's your arm? Has it healed yet? Kendo put a hand on her arm and growled, it's healed enough to let me fight. I sure hope so. Mina raised an eyebrow. And have you tried to do anything with Midoriya? Because I'm certain I gave you a clear message. There's nothing romantic going on between me and Midoriya. Kendo narrowed her eyes. There never was, nor will there ever be. Are you sure about that? Mina smirked. He's getting so many potential girlfriends lately, I wouldn't be surprised if you joined the harem. Start. Mina bolted straight for Kendo, her arms outstretched as Kendo cracked her knuckles and took a defensive position. Once she got close enough, Mina coated her fingers in acid and swung them like claws, each hit narrowly missing the redhead before she enlarged one of her hands and trapped Mina in it. She reeled it back, ready to throw the pink girl out of the arena, but a burning sensation caused Kendo to open her hand, release Mina, and shrink her hand back down as Mina landed right behind her and grabbed her free arm. Right in the same spot she got burned before. Do you remember this, Kendo? Mina chuckled as she began dripping acid on the arm. Last time, I was more than happy to let you go off without a warning. But this time, Mina tightened her grip. There's only one thing you can say to keep your arm. Kendo gritted her teeth, trying to bear the pain long enough to think of a plan. However, it was when the acid began dripping into her bones that she screamed. I concede. Midnight raised her whip. Kendo has conceded. Ashido goes to the next round. Mina released Kendo's arm and patted her back. Good girl, I'm glad to see you're still cooperative. Kendo gritted her teeth and shot a glare at Mina as both she and the acidic girl left the arena, all while the baffled audience watched them. That was a very dirty trick you pulled on Kendo, Ashido, YaoYorozu sternly stated. Everything's fair on love and war, YaoYorozu, and the sports festival is the ultimate war, Mina calmly responded. Sure, it's a war to get noticed by the pro heroes, but it's a war nonetheless. And you're about to get noticed in the worst way possible, Bakugo stated. Better that than not getting noticed at all, Mina folded her arms. Speaking of being noticed, you're up next, Kirishima. Give it your all right. Kirishima sighed as he stood up. Yeah, I know. Wish me luck everyone. Kirishima left the stands, and Bakugo waved goodbye before he turned to face Mina, who gave the redhead a wink before she turned back to see the explosive blonde glaring at her. What? You're not going to do anything when he loses, right? Oh ho ho, Bakugo, what are you saying? Mina lowered her eyelids. There's no way Kirishima would lose to a shrimp like that support student. Speaking of the support student, Mineta walked down the hallways as he headed to the arena, his hands on his pockets. Okay, Mineta, you're about to go out and face off against a hero course student, right in front of the pro heroes of Japan. It's nothing to worry about. It's just every person in the most popular occupation in the world judging you for a chance to become their intern. Actually, now that I think about it, do support students get internships like hero students? Just then, the guy heard someone growling in exasperation, and he stopped. He turned around, and saw none other than Eri, sitting on a bench with a tired expression. Oh hey, it's the girl who split the arena into 3. What's she doing here? Would you stop staring at me? Eri sternly asked. Mineta took a step back, but quickly regained his composure. You're still upset over what happened at the past event, aren't you? Eri rolled her eyes. Why yes, I'm upset about that. Thanks for reminding of that. I didn't mean to, I just didn't want to jump to conclusions. Mineta took a deep breath. If it makes you feel any better, I think your strategy was actually pretty good. Heck, I don't think most of us would have passed if you hadn't created those fire walls. And that's thing, everybody but me went to the next round. Eri put her hand on her cheek. It was my chance to make a good impression on the teachers and I blew it. Mineta raised an eyebrow. Okay, this might be a dumb question, but why do you want to make a good impression on the teachers? Shouldn't you try make a good impression on the other pro heroes? Don't you know anything? The sports festival isn't just a chance for hero course students to get internship offers. Eri turned to Mineta, folding her arms. It's also a chance for those in the other courses, primarily general education, to earn a chance to become a member of one of the hero course classes. And in order to do it, you'd need to show the teachers you do have the potential to be a pro hero, Mineta continued. And your idea to do that was to split the arena in 3 with your firewalls and snatch Melissa's headband. Exactly, Eri smiled, though it quickly turned into a frown. But my entire idea got ruined when time ran out, so I'm probably going to stay in general education. Mineta scratched his head. Well, if you don't mind me asking, why did you apply for general education if you wanted to be a hero? My quirk stockpiles power, but it takes a really long time to do it, Eri sighed. The time limit provided in the exam wasn't long enough to show what I'm capable of, so I applied for general education and waited until the sports festival to prove my worth. Could the fighters please present themselves at the arena, please? They're calling for you. Eri took a deep breath. You should go. Otherwise, you're gonna be disqualified. Yeah, good talk. Mineta kept walking to the arena, and once he had left, Eri looked at where he had gone and stood up, before walking back to her stand. On this corner, a support course student whose gadgets proves he's all balls to the wall. A round of applause for Minoru Mineta. Woo. Go Mineta. Hatsume chirped. And on this corner, the embodiment of manliness, so he'd like you to believe. It's Class 1A's EIJIROKIRISHIMA. Show him the might of the hero course, Kirishima. Mina shouted, raising her fists. You're not in any position to say anything about the hero course, Pinky, Bakugo hissed. Shut up and cheer Kirishima on. Kirishima looked at Mina's cheering and sighed before he turned back to Mineta. Look, don't listen to what she says, okay? Let's just give it our best. Agreed, and I hope you don't mind. Mineta reached for his back, and took out a blaster-like gadget, with 4 tubes connecting to the purple balls that formed his mohawk. But I'll have to use a little support to give it my all. What's this? It looks like Mineta has brought a support item with him to the battlefield. Can this machine help him even the duel? Actually, is it even legal? I'll allow it, Midnight exclaimed. If that's the case, then start. Kirishima hardened his skin and rushed towards Mineta, who promptly aimed his blaster at him and shot several of his balls at him. Kirishima braked slightly and dodged the incoming balls, slowly but surely getting closer to the purple dwarf. I see. The machine automatically plucks off and shoots Mineta's balls, and at a slightly faster rate than if he were to do it with his bare hands. Hatsume remarked, scratching her chin with a wide smile. He has a slightly higher chance of injuring his head like this, but as long as he gets one of the balls to hit the opponent, it's a risk worth taking. Hatsume flashed a proud grin. I can't wait to fight it. Mina, meanwhile, looked dumbfounded at the spectacle. She wasn't exactly sure what she was looking at, but she knew she didn't like it. Finally, at the general education stands, Shinsu and Eri watched the fight with interest. Looks like the little purple dwarf got something on his mind, Shinsu said with a raised eyebrow. This ought to be interesting, right? Eri said nothing, knowing what Shinsu's quirk could do, so she instead nodded and kept watching silently. Back with the fight, Kirishima got close enough to punch Mineta, but before he could do that, the guy dodged the strike and jumped into one of the balls in the arena, jumping up and down on it repeatedly as he gestured Kirishima to go after him. Accepting the challenge, Kirishima smiled and chased after Mineta, who jumped to another ball once Kirishima got close enough. He did this again, and this continued until they were both close to the edges of the arena. Once there, Kirishima threw another punch, but rather than jump to another ball, Mineta jumped over Kirishima, got on his back, and jumped off, sending him straight out of the boundaries and into the grass field. Kirishima is out of bounds. Midnight proclaimed as she raised her whip. Mineta goes to the next round. Mineta took off the gadget, jumped down to the grass, and helped Kirishima stand up. Hey, good fight back there. Yeah, same to you, Kirishima said with a proud smile. I gotta say, you totally caught me off guard with that jump. Hey, think you could make a gadget for me sometime? Mineta shrugged and smiled. Sure, just ask for permission, tell me what you need, and I'll see what I can do. Kirishima patted Mineta's back, and the duo went back to the stands, laughing all the while. Oh my goodness, Mineta, I'm so happy for you. Hatsume shouted joyously as she hugged Mineta as tightly as she could. Good work out there. Thanks, Mineta said, his voice muffled by the hug. I bet you're gonna do amazing on your match, too. Oh, right, my match. Hatsume put Mineta down and grabbed her toolbox. I need to go get a couple of things ready for it. Be back in a bit. Hatsume ran off, and Mineta sat back down on his seat. Hey. The purple dwarf turned around, and Eri was standing right near him. Oh hey, the girl from general education. Eri. She played with her hair. My name's Eri. Eri, then, Mineta raised an eyebrow. What do you need? Eri twiddled her fingers and avoided eye contact with Mineta. Well, I watched your fight, and I just wanted to say, you did good out there. Mineta smiled. Why, thank you. Eri looked at Mineta, and she barely saw his smile for a second before she hastily said, well, that's all I wanted to say. Gee, good luck on your match. Eri ran off soon after, and a confused Mineta could only ask, what just happened? Meanwhile, over on Kirishima's end, the red-headed guy scratched the back of his head and laughed as he sat down. Man, that was quite a defeat, wasn't it? You can say that again, Sero answered. That little guy made you go all over the place and then he pushed you out of the arena like that. I kinda wonder, Uraraka scratched her cheek. Would hardening your back have helped? Unlikely, YaoYorozu shook her head. The increased weight from the hardening would have increased Kirishima's weight. What the hell? Everybody turned around, and next thing they knew, Mina was right up in Kirishima's face, lifting him by the neck of his shirt as she yelled. What the hell was that pathetic showing, Kirishima? Why didn't you kick that supporter's ass when you had the chance? Mina, calm down. Kirishima replied, hardening his skin. How am I supposed to calm down after you made such a massive screw up? Bakugo put a hand on Mina's shoulder. That's enough, Pinky. Don't touch me, you little shit. Mina hissed, releasing Kirishima and using the same arm to slap Bakugo's hand away. First you hold back enough to let Midoriya go to the next round, and now you want me to calm down after Kirishima let that little midget win. Uraraka frowned, while everybody else, including YaoYorozu, widened their eyes. Bakugo held back. Bakugo's howitzer impact gathers oxygen and stuff to power the explosion he unleashes after the spiral, Uraraka explained, getting everyone's attention. However, like with most of his explosions, Bakugo can choose not to blow up all of the stuff he's accumulated, however, doing this causes a heavy toll on his body. YaoYorozu turned back to Bakugo. So, the howitzer impact he did against Midoriya. Bakugo rolled his eyes. If I wanted, I could have unleashed an even bigger, even stronger explosion, that even the enhancement your feather gave to Deku's wings would have done nothing to protect him. Yes, you could have, but you didn't, and Midoriya's still in this stupid tournament. Mina hissed, spitting venom as she leaned forward until she was face to face with the explosive blonde. And again I ask, why would you do something so idiotic? Bakugo, without warning, smacked foreheads with Mina hard enough to send her straight into the wall separating the hero courses, with the rest of Class 1A watching in shock. You dare. I allowed Deku to win for a couple, simple reasons, Bakugo smirked. For starters, it pisses you off. Mina gritted her teeth and growled, for about a second before Bakugo grabbed the neck of her shirt and lifted her. Secondly, remember what I said about me fucking you up once you crossed the line. Well, letting Deku win was precisely what I meant by that. I've noticed how you've grown scared of him since the festival started. How you tried to avoid him, how you were vehement on me defeating him, and how, once he beat me, you froze up and began to panic on the inside. What the hell are you talking about? Mina spat. I'm not scared of that little jerk. I'm pretty sure you are. Everybody turned to see the source of the voice, Melissa. I saw you shaking and everything when the obstacle course was over, and before the arena was split into 3, I saw you watching Midoriya with caution. Mina narrowed her eyes. Melissa, you traitorous bitch. And finally, the most important reason, is because you deserve to get fucked up by Deku, Bakugo continued. You've already done so much bullshit to hurt him and his friends, that even I feel disgusted by the fact we share a father. You what? The rest of Class 1A exclaimed. It's a long story that I didn't want to bother to tell, because as far as I'm concerned, this little shit isn't my sister, she's just an asshole who pulls dick moves left and right for her own amusement. Bakugo dropped Mina on the ground. And now, it's time for all those moves to catch up to her. With his words spoken, Bakugo walked back to his seat and sat down, all while Mina looked at him with a rabid glare. She didn't do anything besides sit back down, but as the wait for the final fight began, an uneasy tension filled the 1A stands. And thus, in the blink of an eye, the final battle arrived. On this corner, from general education, he's someone WHO trained so hard to be a hero, he kinda forgot to take ASNOOZE. It's HITOSHISHINSOU. And on this corner, from the support course, the most enthusiastic gadgeteer you'll ever meet. It's May Hatsume. Hatsume finished adjusting the arm brace when she heard Shinsu's voice speaking. So, we meet again, huh? Hatsume shot a glare at Shinsu, but the boy kept talking undeterred. I gotta say, this matchup really put a wrench in my plans. I was planning to use the information I got to try gain an advantage over that Midoriya guy you told me about. But clearly, that's not what happened. Hatsume narrowed her eyes. Now, I'm facing you instead, and you seem to have a sweet little gadget to give me a beating for what I did. And I don't blame you, but you can't blame me either. Start. Just think about it. I don't know what your quirk did, but it probably helped you with the support course, right? Hatsume lowered her head, looking saddened at the mention of her lost eyes, before she regained her composure and got ready to run. I'm almost the same. My quirk would be completely useless against the robots we faced at the entrance exam. I could get someone else to destroy one for me, but that would only help them, and I'd be left in the dust. Shinsu looked at the ground and frowned. I don't expect you to understand. I don't expect anybody to understand, but I really wanted to get into the hero course, to prove that, even if my quirk was villainous, that didn't mean I couldn't be a hero, even if I had to resort to underhanded tricks to do it. I was hoping that impressing the school enough to get a ticket to the hero course would at least help justify my methods, even if they were inexcusable. Hatsume raised her head, and began walking towards him as both Class 1A and Class 1B frowned at Shinsu's continued statement. The hero course has it so easy, with all its flashy members with their flashy, powerful quirks. Even the less useful ones like a simply upgrade to their defense makes them perfect heroes in the eyes of the world. And then there are people like me, people whose quirks have been stereotyped to be stuff worthy of villains. Stuff that, assuming you have it, your only real future is as a villain. Midoriya lowered his eyelids. Shinsu. I do understand. Midoriya, his classmates, the audience and even Shinsu flinched as they saw Hatsume was right in front of Shinsu, ready to throw a punch. But you still ruined my trust, so I can't help you get to the hero course now. Hatsume threw a punch, and her brace grew before it increased the force of the punch by twice its output, sending Shinsu right out of bounds and into the soft grass below. Shinsu is out of bounds. Midnight exclaimed. Hatsume goes to the next round. Ugh. Dang it, the insomniac-looking guy spoke as he got up. I ruined someone's trust, and even the trust of one of my upperclassmen, for nothing. Maybe today, but not always. Shinsu looked up, and once again, Hatsume was right nearby, this time offering a hand to him. Look, my trust is still pretty hurt, so every time you talk I'll do my best to not respond, but, I also understand your plight, so, how about I make you a support item to help you get to the hero course? Shinsu accepted the hand, and fully stood up. You'd be willing to help me even after everything I did. Hatsume smiled. That's what the support course is for, right? Shinsu smiled, nodded, and he and Hatsume shook hands before they left the arena, just in time for Mike to chime in. And that does it for the first round of the tournament. We'll take a half-hour break and return with even more exciting action. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.